What's your favorite scary movie?
Be like, I'm dying.
If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, they guys," I'm like, "It's over and done. We're married now."
Someone in the movie, so I'm like, kiss. But
oh God, what a sea of humanity.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
All right.
What's going on, everybody? Hello, welcome to 52/1994, your live movie conversation podcast, where we dive deep into the movies of 1994. I'm your host, Cody, and I'm thrilled to be joined this week by my fantastic co-host, Spencer. Spencer, welcome back, my boy.
Well, I'm liking the new font on our title cards.
It's like Christmassy. That's what it was advertised as. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we're so glad that you're here. Every week, 52 of those to be exact, we explore a different film from 1994. This is our 50th movie this year that we've done. Wow, I know. 2 more left.
Wait, does that mean 100 movies overall?
Yeah, we've done 100
more,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, we've done 102 movies here.
Oh, snap.
Pretty impressive. But we discuss a film from 1994, whether it's a classic hit, a quirky gem, or somewhere kind of in the middle. We'll dive into this year's important releases, discuss them in detail, and then see what my guest has been watching and see if he's seen anything good. Our monthly category this month is called Read It and Weep, where the movies that we're talking about are all based on books or novellas or something. Today's movie of choice, I don't know if either one of us chose it willingly, is called Disclosure. But before we jump into this week's movie, let's welcome Spencer and let's ask him, have you ever seen this movie before?
No, there would not be a reason for me to. So no, I had not. And of all the movies I've ever seen, this is certainly one of them.
I don't know what it is about you, but every time that I get a potential for an erotic thriller, I'm like, I gotta have Spencer on. Whether it's Sliver or Indecent Proposal.
I'm horned up. That's what I do.
You're just horned up, bricked up over there.
Yep, all the time.
He's got more Demi for you, and he likes Michael Douglas, and oh, it's so good. But anyway, you've never seen this before. I had never seen this before either. I always thought this was going to be a sexy movie, and one of those forbidden movies, kind of like Basic Instinct is a forbidden movie. Have you ever seen Basic Instinct?
No, I don't think so. I think we had talked about it when we watched Indecent Proposal and Sliver. I think we talked about me needing to watch that, but no, I haven't yet.
That's okay.
Is that kind of the bar for like erotic thrillers?
I think that is kind of up there. Yeah, definitely one of the better erotic thrillers out there. And I think everything else is just kind of trying to achieve that.
Can you even categorize this movie as an erotic thriller, really?
Well, I think it advertised itself as this. This is kind of what we ran into with Indecent Proposal too. There wasn't much thrilling about it. There also wasn't as much eroticism as you thought there was going to be.
No. We're getting blue-balled left and right.
Seriously. Now, Sliver, that's an erotic thriller, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's up there. Body Heat's another one. There are some Brian De Palma films out there that are probably some better erotic thrillers that we're doing. And this one, I couldn't tell you what category this movie falls in under. What were your first impressions of this movie?
Well, it started off like super dated. Like it was just little girl opens up the email and it's absolutely insane. It looks like some computer looking like some blank check shit. Like it was so weird. I was like, okay, whatever. And then so I didn't know anything about this movie coming in, and I thought it started out really solid. Like I was like, okay, this is promising. Like, and then of course we got that scene, which we'll definitely talk about. And I was like, oh hell yeah, let's go. And then it was just like the movie just like stopped progressing from there. I was like, oh, we just got stuck. Like I just felt stuck the whole time. I was like, I wanted more.
That's a good way to put this movie, is just feeling stuck. Because every time it like ramps up to do something, it's like, nah.
Yeah.
This is an ultimate Blue Balls movie, but Blue Balls in much more ways than just eroticism. It doesn't really follow through on anything.
No, I don't know. It's very underwhelming. So
very underwhelming. Well, let's talk about it a little bit more. Let me give you all the background of this movie. Again, this movie is called Disclosure. The date it came out was December 9th, 1994. So we are really close to that 30th anniversary there. It was directed by Barry Levinson. He's probably most famous for movies like Rain Man or Good Morning Vietnam. This was written by Paul Attanasio, and it's based on the novel by Michael Crichton. Paul Attanasio, I think we have talked about him before, you and I specifically, because he was nominated for his screenplay work on Quiz Show, which you love.
Yeah, and they both worked on Donnie Brasco.
Oh, okay. Much better movies than Disclosure.
That's why I was shocked. I was like, wait, like one of these guys came from Quiz Show and another worked on Donnie Brasco, and then you got Rain Man, and then we get this.
Yeah. No, that's a good quote or good line in the chat. If it's like you rented Fatal Attraction, but Kramer versus Kramer DVD was in the case. Also mixed with, it was like Kramer versus Kramer Lawnmower Man edition. That's a reference for some of the virtual reality people, or Johnny Mnemonic or something like that. Some weird stuff in there.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about the VR stuff.
All right. This movie stars, frequent horny actor Michael Douglas as Tom Sanders, Demi Moore as Meredith Johnson, Donald Sutherland in here as Bob Garvin, Caroline Goodall as Susan Sanders, Dennis Miller as Mark Lewin, Roma Mafia as Catherine Alvarez, Dylan Baker as Philip Blackburn, Donal Logue also in here as Chance Gear. There's a couple other people like side characters that I'm not naming, but
I was randomly very excited to see Dennis Miller in this. I don't know why. I just love Dennis Miller.
I'd love to talk about him because we'll get to it. Okay. The synopsis for this movie is, in this Michael Crichton adaptation, Tom Sanders is a senior executive at a cutting-edge technology corporation on the verge of releasing an innovative new product, a CD-ROM.
The CD-ROM drive when he started talking about it.
Sanders' boss, Bob Galvin, is putting the final touches on a potentially lucrative merger, and everything is in order for Tom until a vamp from his past, Meredith Johnson, swoops in, stealing his impending promotion, and then doubling down, suing him for sexual harassment. This movie had a budget of $55 million and a box office return of $214 million. It was number 14 at the box office this year.
Ooh, that's insane.
Yeah. This came in right behind The Client.
This had to have been a result of like really good marketing.
I think Demi Moore being kind of a hot actress and Michael Douglas being a hot actor at the time. Like, I think people just went to the movies to watch movies like this. Like, and they love horny Michael Douglas. So I had a friend in college who the name of his band was called the Michael Douglasers. And he said that Michael Douglasing somebody was having sex up against the wall and pushing somebody up against it. That was...
I love that.
Yeah, that was good. So that's what it means to Michael Douglas somebody. This movie has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 59%, an IMDb score of 6.2, and a Letterboxd score of 2.8. So all kind of around the middle. Roger Ebert said, as the movie started, I expected a sexy docudrama about sexual harassment. What I got was more of a thriller and a whodunit in which the harassment theme gets misplaced. 2 out of 4 stars. Big old Raj. And Hal Hinson of the Washington Post simply said, smashingly entertaining.
Well, what?
I mean, I was entertained, but
I was not.
Not in the way that like most people are. Like, should have been. No real legacy behind this movie. It did not win any awards. It made some best of lists and it made some worst of lists in that year. So couldn't find anything award wise or anything beyond this. No remakes or anything have been made of this one. But it is a movie, and we
Yeah.
watched it.
And I don't think if we would have watched it, whether we watched it or didn't watch it, I don't think our lives would have changed in the slightest.
No.
So that says
No.
something about this movie. The impact is nil, zero.
So- Okay, so let's talk about some of your favorite scenes or some of the best scenes in this
Oh.
movie.
Well, my favorite was, that steamy scene between Michael Douglas and Demi Moore. Awooga.
Awooga.
Although he was being real dramatic while getting his knob polished. I don't know what he was.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, but it's that whole thing like no, please don't
Yeah.
suck me off, please,
Don't-
please.
stop. I would
Please
hate to
don't
be
do it.
pleasured.
Yeah, don't. Oh, it's in your mouth. I'm so sorry. I tripped and fell.
And I don't know why she's putting her finger in his mouth.
Oh, that was
That's a move.
that was a move. Also, okay, so this is another thing that I kind of pet peeve of mine. I know we're jumping ahead of, but I have the seduction scene as like a whole scene. But when it goes to like showing somebody going down on a man in a movie, they're always way too far into their crotch. Like, I don't. It's such a pet peeve of mine where I'm like, let's get like.
It's understandable.
Yeah, I know. The realism's just out the door for me. And that just threw me out the rest of the movie. I
will say, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he stopped like the character. I was worn out just watching it, man. I was sweating.
Especially when he changes so drastically. He's like, no. And then he's like, do you want to be fucked? And then he like switches and then gets like animalistic in it and then like sees himself in the reflection of like a window or something like that. He's like, I just can't. I can't do this.
Is that post nut clarity?
Yeah, but no nut clarity.
Little did we know he busted and he left.
That would make for a more interesting movie.
It would.
A bust and go, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's a pants bust. It wasn't like in the ether.
Okay, so you're this guy. You're Tom or whatever. And you get passed over for this promotion that you thought you were set up. That was the whole like point of the first half of the movie is just him getting set up for this. He gets an email in the morning that his children read, and like he's going to get this job and they're going to make a lot more money, him and his wife and kids. It's going to be great for everybody. And then this wild card of a ex-girlfriend that he once had, I don't even know how many years ago, because I think he's like at least 10 years older than her, comes back and she suddenly gets the promotion out of nowhere.
Smoking hot, too, by the way. Just
what? Oh, smoking hot. They determined that because his wife asked him at one point, like, what do you rate her out of 10? And he's like, an 8.
A 9.
A 9. Doesn't go full 10 because you don't want to make your wife that mad knowing that you were.
Also, well, I don't know how much. She way underreacted to the situation, by the way. I'll just say.
But what's she supposed to do?
Go fly off the rails. Like, you're not going to go insane after hearing that. Also, after getting passed over for this job and stuff, I totally expected it to cut to Michael Douglas and falling down.
That again, much better movie. But like, have you seen Oppenheimer?
Yes.
You know the scenes when they're talking, like his wife is in the background of like one of those depositions that they're doing, and they're talking about how Oppenheimer's having sex with Florence Pugh's character, and like that's what it felt like in those scenes when she was like, she was in my mouth, or he was in my mouth, and all. It's just wild. That was wild.
Yeah, that was
But the seduction scene, like, okay, he stays late. She has a meeting with him set up, and she's got his favorite bottle of wine. She closes the door. She asks for a massage.
Yeah.
I mean, red flags are going up all over the place.
Apparently, Michael Douglas is the massage guy in the office.
He's Michael. There's so many work problems in this movie.
Yeah, HR, please.
Yeah, where's HR in this thing? Is that Dylan Baker? Is he HR?
I don't think he's HR.
I just think he's their lawyer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I
Also,
don't know.
Bill Baker did great. So
Red flags all over the place, and oh man, I love when she's like, "Hey, show me your kids, show me your pictures of your kids," and it's 90s dad. He's got all the pictures in his wallet, and I love when she's like, "Oh, she looks like her refrigerator's always full."
yeah, what the fuck is that?
Just basically shitting on his wife, saying that she's fat. Who his wife is gorgeous and thin, not that, but not fat or not unhealthy at all. Like, it's absurd and out of nowhere. And
Yeah, that was a really weird line.
it was so. But he's like, yeah, she didn't lose the weight after the second kid.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you're an asshole.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of mixed stuff going on here. And then everything starts up and she just goes full in on him. Like,
Yeah.
hey, remember when we used to do all this stuff? And he's like, yeah, I do. And then he said, no.
Let me get Michael Douglas.
Can you please Michael Douglas me? That's what Demi Moore said. And then he runs out of the office and she says she's going to kill him.
And her shirt is open.
Yeah, her shirt is open, bra on. The cleaning lady's downstairs just like looking up at her. I died laughing when I saw the cleaning lady just sitting there and just looking up at this topless woman. Yeah, it was pretty good. What else you got?
Man, not a whole lot, I'm gonna be honest. I put, and I don't even remember exactly what happened here, but I put the scene that he discovers someone has the whole situation on an answering machine. I just put that was a bit exciting.
I like the scene with the lawyer when he gets the lawyer from a friend, the email from a friend who is also this person that has been like trying to help our character or the main character out the whole time. He keeps getting these emails that he can't return the emails to, and they all say from a friend, which we find out. I hated it. I hated that reveal.
That part of the storyline was so bad.
Weak. The reveal of that and the who done. Yeah, that was real bad. But the email, the person tells him to go see this Catherine Alvarez person because I guess she deals in sexual harassment cases, particularly one with a man who's been sexually harassed by a woman. And I actually like those scenes. I think the strongest scenes in this movie are between him and the lawyer. Anytime the lawyer is on screen, I think those are really good scenes. I like that, like when he's like trying to figure out if he wants to sue or not. I like all of that. I like her with the wife. I like Michael Douglas with the wife. That I like the scene when he's in the like subway with her and she's like trying to grasp what he's telling her because he's still not like revealing everything to her. He's just like, oh, she had her hand down my pants. He doesn't say anything about the oral or anything like that. He's like, I said no, and we didn't have sex. But like this woman who just defended her husband for no reason at dinner, starts like asking a question. I think those are really good scenes.
Yeah, the wife, I don't know. The wife just wasn't super compelling to me. Her role and their chemistry, I don't think it was the greatest. I don't know. I just didn't think it was like the greatest chemistry I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And then like I just thought I wanted more from her. And then the lawyer was good, but I mean she was no Reggie Love.
She's no Reggie Love, but she was pretty good. I think I like all the women in this movie. I think they're my favorite characters in this movie. I feel like Michael Douglas is just being Michael Douglas, but
yeah, true.
Not that he's not bad. I love Michael Douglas.
No,
he did a really good job.
Who he is.
He's just doing him. So the Catherine Alvarez scene was mine. Like when he's trying to figure out whether he wants to go after the company or not.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what was yours? Oh, the finding out the answering machine. Oh, I randomly called this guy and they've got my phone records and it's just some random guy we've never seen before.
It was pretty dumb, but I mean, it did make it for somewhat excitement. I don't know.
And basically he had recorded the entire the entire seduction scene on an answering machine
Because he never hung up.
because he never hung up the phone. So he has him saying no 31 times on audio. And so basically she's screwed. You would think.
And that guy somehow didn't delete it.
Didn't delete it and wasn't like, I mean, he said, I've been trying to call you, man.
Not like you've got this weird smut voicemail and you're just going to sit on it. Like, weird.
Also, there's so many like side things in this movie going on. Like, you've got these CD-ROM drives that don't work. You've got this guy trying to get Disneyland tickets for this other dude that's randomly in this movie.
Oh, yeah. What was that about?
Well, it ends up being okay because that's how he gets the Disneyland tickets give him access to the mainframe, and that leads to our virtual reality scene.
Yeah.
The mainframe. I'm accessing the mainframe.
So, this movie, man.
What other scene do you have?
I only have one more, and it's not that great. I just put him showing the Malaysian news clip, and I just wrote, "Gotcha, bitch."
The Malaysian news clip is a great thing to show. Not just coming out and saying like, hey, this person, he said he listened to it with his girlfriend multiple times. I did forget about that.
That was their bedroom playlist.
That's right. No, the Malaysian news clip is a funny like thing to start off with. He's just like, hey, you've never seen The Line, right? And she's like, no. Oh, got her. She's there. In this
And then she just
random
walked
Malaysian-
out, and the movie's just basically fucking over.
Yeah, at that point, he's like, got her. And she, like, basically, her and this other guy were trying to make these CD-ROMs cheaper.
Yeah, by
And
using
by doing,
yeah.
you can't put CD-ROMs together with your hands. That's a no-no. So don't do that if you're ever making a CD-ROM. But yeah, so that's the point of this whole movie is like this was a big setup from the very beginning because this girl and this guy tried to make cheap CD-ROMs and none of the CD-ROMs were working. And they were like, oh, I've got a way to set this guy up so that he'll take the fall. I used to bang him back in the day. Let me bang him again and then accuse him of sexual harassment. It's a very convoluted plan to take over as the vice president or like as the president or whatever. It's super in depth for what it turned out to be.
Yeah, it's very unnecessary.
Yeah, that was the last scene that I had on there. Was the merger conference, and the people that they're merging with have been scared at least like 3 times in this movie to be like, wait a second, are you telling me that these things don't work? But then they still ended up doing the merger, which I thought was very
Well, hell, bro.
All right, who's your favorite character in this movie?
I put my least favorite is probably Michael Douglas's wife, Carolyn Goodall. I thought she sucked, man. Yeah, well. The Scene Stealers, I've got 2. And it's mainly the second one. I did really like Donald Sutherland though. So I'll give him a shout out. But my Scene Stealer was Dylan Baker. Hence my name.
He was good as like this smarmy, like evil lawyer dude that was
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he was really good. I picked Catherine Alvarez. I like the lawyer. I thought she did a really good job. I like I said, I really like that first scene that she has with Michael Douglas, and then I like the scene that she has with the wife, and she has a couple other strong scenes in like the deposition part. So I really liked her. What about the angel guy? How'd you feel about him?
Oh my god, dude! I forgot about the angel guy. Oh, so I like the guy. I don't like his VR angel guy though.
Yeah, I like that
But
he's terrified of women.
I his character actually seemed like pretty on brand for like a nerdy tech guy, like
Yeah.
doing back end stuff. I thought they did really good with him and Dennis Miller's like camaraderie. I really liked it. I like their chemistry better than I like Michael Douglas and his wife's chemistry.
I thought Michael Douglas, that ending scene with Michael Douglas and Hunter, the woman who's on their little operations team with Dennis Miller and all
Oh
those. I liked their final scene. She was basically like, "Yeah, I've had to work twice as hard and everything just to get where I'm at and get no respect or whatever for it." So I
yeah,
like that stuff. No, and you know what? I actually think that Demi Moore did or Meredith Johnson was a good character.
yeah. Well, yeah. She was very. I don't know. Unlikable might not be the right word. Like I don't know. Like slimy. I
Yeah.
guess. But which you don't always see from a female character in film. So that was, I guess, that was a good thing that set them apart. If you could say anything good about this movie,
Yeah. There aren't very many like one-liners, but like Meredith has so many like monologue moments. Or that's really what this is. There's a lot of like little monologues that are in here that are really strong. But other than that, like yeah, not a lot of one-liners. But Meredith has a couple of those where I'm like, yeah, that was a good line reading, and I liked it. So speaking of line readings, let's talk about some of our favorite lines from this movie, some quotes.
well, after we've already said one of mine, which was the 1 to 10 line,
Oh,
rating it on a 1 to 10. I put this was not a very quotable movie because, like you said, it's mostly pretty long, drawn out monologues. But the only one I have is because the irony was really funny. It said somebody said, "This is America. The legal system is supposed to protect people like me." I was like,
very
oh,
funny. Coming from a billionaire, that's very funny.
yeah.
I had several lines. Again, these are really long line readings, so
I
bear
think that's
with
why
me.
I didn't do that.
Yeah. One of the one-liners I have here is from Meredith, where she says, "You stick your dick in my mouth, and now you get an attack of morality." That's pretty
That
good.
was a good one.
Let's see. One of the lawyers for Meredith says they're talking about sex and how much him and Meredith used to have sex, and he says every day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes sex in public places, sodomy, viewing of pornography, vibrators, and other mechanical devices. And Tom replies with, "Sometimes we sat on the couch and watched television."
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one. Susan, whenever she's talking to Alvarez, she says, "Miss Alvarez, 48 hours ago, my husband's penis was in another woman's mouth. I don't think there's anything in the law that can help me with that."
I did really like that. Yeah, that was good.
I like that scene. That's a good scene.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a good scene or a good line. You want to put me, this is Meredith. She says, "You want to put me on trial here? Let's be at least honest about what it's for. I'm a sexually aggressive woman. I like it. Tom knew it, and you can't handle it. It is the same damn thing since the beginning of time. Veil it, hide it, lock it up, and throw away the key. We expect a woman to do a man's job, make a man's money, and then walk around with a parasol and lie down for a man to fuck her like it was still 100 years ago. Well, no, thank you."
Damn. I guess I guess I just wasn't paying attention to that. I probably checked out during the middle part
It's
of the movie.
okay. Catherine to Tom says sexual harassment is not about sex. It's about power. She has it. You don't. She also says to him, and this is, like I said, one of my favorite parts of the movie is when she's talking to him about his options. And she says, "If you sue, you'll never get another job in the computer business. If you don't sue, they'll bury you in Austin. If you sue, it's news. If you don't, it's gossip. If you sue, nobody will believe you. If you don't, your wife won't. Then they will make your life into a living hell for the next 3 years until this case goes to trial. And for that privilege, it's going to cost you a minimum of $100,000. Do you think it's a game, Mr. Sanders? It's a game to them. How do you feel about losing?"
Dang. There, so
Pretty good.
There was one, and I kind of forgot it. It's not a quote, but I guess you could have included it in the scenes just because I've kind of got a question or at least want to bring it up. So, like, there's an Asian lady in this movie that testified against him, right?
Yes.
But then all of a sudden she's helping him, and then she smacks him on the ass.
Yeah,
They're
'cause-
helping him try to win a sexual assault case.
yeah, because okay, so she's not really like
I get it, but like, there's time and a place. And that ain't it.
I know.
I don't. You know what? No, there's not a time and a place.
I agree with you. There's a lot of mixed messages in this movie. There are so many sexual harassment like parts
HR
of this movie. HR's not doing their job at this company, but
They
like
would have a field day.
his assistant or whatever, she's just telling the truth. She's like, yeah, he smacks me on the butt and he rubs my shoulders every once in a while. Like, not a big deal. Never thought it was like he was doing anything harmful or anything. And so they were just, establishing that he's a sexual harasser.
Jeez.
Yeah, there are too many mixed messages, and that's like only part of it is this whole sexual harassment thing, because then it gets into like corporate espionage and like doing things that are supposed to be for the greater good of humanity, and
Yeah.
we're just trying to make money, and that's what we're being sold. I don't know. Let's go through some of our biggest laughs.
Oh, the only thing I put was a thrill, and that was the scene.
The scene, I have that in my most what the fuck moment.
No, I've got that in my thrills because I was very thrilled.
It was very thrilling.
It was thrilling.
I thought it was very funny. But my biggest laugh is just after he has run out of her office and like the cleaning lady is up there and she says, "You get back in here and finish what you started or you're fucking dead. You're fucking dead." And just screaming at him to like have sex with her. It's so weird. Like, wasn't her intention the whole time to frame him for?
Yeah, man, I guess yelling after him helps, but it doesn't help that he didn't. You're letting people believe he didn't do it. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, mixed messages. This whole thing is a mess.
It's so messy. But let's talk about your thrill.
Why? I just talked about my thrill.
The VR scene?
No, the sex scene.
Oh, that scene. My bad. I thought we were talking about the VR scene.
No, because that is in my what the fuck ridiculous.
That is okay. Yeah, the sex scene was underwhelming and overwhelming somehow at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked me more. I mean,
I get it, man. Have you watched The Substance?
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Get that movie 7-day trial.
Oh, that's exactly what I did, and then it ran out before I could watch the other one you suggested.
Wow, that's okay. All right, let's talk about our ridiculous moment or what the fuck scene because it is the same.
Yeah. So the insane claw marks on his chest. Let's start there. Like, what the fuck is that? It is it looked. I don't know. It was so unrealistic. It looked like somebody put like some barbecue sauce in a couple of lines on his chest. What was that about?
I mean, just so something he had to hide from his wife. That's really all.
Yeah,
that was built for.
but make it look like it's not insane.
I don't remember her clawing him.
I don't either. It looked like little caterpillars sitting on his chest. It was so weird. It was so defined and raised.
I thought it looked like 4 nails across his chest.
It wasn't it wasn't like red and stuff. It was just like literally like 4 lines, like somebody drew them on with Sharpie. Yeah, exactly. Barbecue sauce. I'm sitting there. Barbecue sauce on my titties.
Don't get him started on Vine.
No, so I got that. I've got the silly ass tech, like his internet and the emails and the dumbass sounds that it makes whenever they pop up. Piss me off. I've also this actually made me more mad than anything, and that was the random super intense title cards saying what day it was.
I loved them. I
Came,
love Monday.
came out of nowhere and honestly scared the shit out of me sometimes because I was just kind of into the movie, and then all of a sudden, boom! Like it was, and it seemed just out of place and lazy. Like
It seemed like a Law and Order episode kind of thing.
It felt very much like that.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like those. I
Nah,
laugh
and then,
every time
of
one
course-
comes up.
Oh, I did end up laughing, yes. And then, of course, the VR scene at the end was just bonkers.
Man, the early to mid 90s, and their obsession with virtual reality and thinking like this is what it was gonna be, is fascinating. I would love to just watch a bunch of those. But I mean, looking at it, did it not seem like an Oculus? Like
I will. They got the headset and shit right, like, but
in like the ground thing, like
that was but the graphics
yeah.
wasn't it. And
just
the little
love-
angel guy.
The angel guy, Angel, can you help me? Gee, don't just you wait. But no, he's trying to find these files that are going to prove him right, and he almost falls.
But why do you have to go through VR to find files?
I don't know why they decided to keep their entire database. This company's database is now in a virtual reality world, in a prototype. And also, this is a prototype for a CD-ROM.
Oh, insane! Yet, Demi Moore is able to access these files on her computer.
Oh my god, I died looking at that, and then like Demi Moore's like digitized face like shows up behind him, and it's supposed to be scary, like she's discovering that he's in the system, and it's not at all.
And in like half a second, he somehow takes all the VR stuff off and disappears behind a wall
before the investors can see it. No, the angel scene, yeah. This would be if any of our companies were like, I'm just going to save everything to the metaverse right now.
Yeah. Forget OneDrive, forget SharePoint. If you need your files, strap on that Oculus and take a walk.
No, I just love that they tried to make this scene the most thrilling scene in the movie, and it was laughable at every point in it. Like seriously, he comes up to a ledge in this library of files and almost falls off the ledge. He is standing on solid ground in an apartment and acts like he's going to fall, and we're supposed to be scared for him to fall down this imaginary hole in virtual reality. It's insane.
I'm telling you, the tech in Blank Check was better than this.
I agree with you. Yeah, so that VR scene, which I guess we were supposed to be impressed by in 94. Roger Ebert, even in his review, says that it was kind of a cool scene.
What?
Yeah. Every review that I saw from the early 90s was like, oh yeah, they had this really cool scene with like the VR and stuff. But I guess that's wild to them at the time, where they're like, oh, I've never seen anything like this before. Even though you literally saw a movie that recreated dinosaurs the year before.
Yeah.
And like beautiful imagery, computer animation, and then this.
Dude, there's so many other things they could have been impressed by.
Yeah, no, this one. I also brought up what now?
Oh, 2022 or 2002. Never mind.
The only other thing I had for ridiculous stuff was the amount of sexual harassment that was actually in this movie that had nothing to do with the sexual harassment that was mostly talked about. Because like the fact that they just say some of the shit that they say in front of like some of the women in the office, Dennis Miller's character and half the shit he says is just super inappropriate.
Yeah.
I hate Dennis Miller. I hate him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I hate Dennis Miller.
Is he a bad person?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if he is or not. I just don't think he's. I don't really think he's funny.
Okay, interesting. I have always liked him. I think that started with Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. And did you ever watch any of his like HBO stuff? Because he did like sports stuff too.
I saw that he did. I've never seen it. The thing I know him from is Joe Dirt, The Net, The Campaign,
Net.
and then What Happens in Vegas.
I forgot about The Net. It was that came out this year. I'm pretty sure The Net came out this year.
I was about to ask about that and why we haven't covered it.
Well, there's only 52 movies I could select.
Well, go back. And
It's a
Was it not?
1995 movie. It's a 95 movie. So maybe next year.
there's still a chance.
Well, there's still a chance we might be able to see The Net next year.
Oh yeah, is that
Put your
comparable to this as far as tech goes?
As far as tech goes, there's a lot of movies like this with bad VR, and like Lawnmower Man is one. Johnny Mnemonic is another. I've already said some of those.
You know what? I think, and I know I'm jumping it here, but I think The Net would be a good movie pairing. I really do.
Virtuosity. I think that comes out next year, 95. There was this horror movie I watched earlier this year called Brain Scan that's got a virtual reality element to it. So
Like in a good
Yeah.
way.
no,
Oh.
no.
Never.
And everything just the Matrix really seals really snaps this out of
They're
this
like, we see
terrible
your
bad stuff.
Mhm.
Existenz, I forgot about Existenz. That's a like Matrix-esque one. So no, bad VR movies. Bad VR movies. All right. Did you have any best musical moments or score recognized? This was
I'm a sucker for a synth, so whenever he discovered that like his system operations level had been revoked, it like kind of hit pretty hard, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But that's about all I had.
Well, this is a famous composer, Ennio Morricone, probably most famous for his The Man with No Name trilogy. And he's done so many more. He's worked with Tarantino a lot too.
There was one other part that he had incorporated, like I think with when they like pick the strings of a violin, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I noticed that at one kind of intense moment. And I thought that was pretty cool. It was just the sound of it. Not a big music guy, so
Yeah. Well, they got a really big name for this movie, and I mean, this movie killed it at the box office, so people liked it.
I guess that's
Maybe
all
it
that
went.
matters for him.
That's all that matters. All right, you ready for a fuck, marry,
Dude.
kill?
I'm very excited because I know I ain't killing Demi Moore.
All right, I'm gonna replace one because I already know who you'd kill.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely killing Susan.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do Meredith, Catherine,
Okay.
and Cindy.
Is
Cindy
Cindy
Chang.
the Asian lady?
Yeah, her last name's Chang. Cho Chang.
Shit. That's tough. Cindy was pretty unremarkable, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill her.
Okay.
And she was just another lawsuit waiting to happen. I think I'm gonna have my fun with Demi Moore. I think I'm gonna marry
Mary
Mary
Catherine.
Lawyer. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. I think that's right.
Because
Although-
you can't. Demi's crazy. Obviously,
Demi
yeah.
is crazy in this movie.
Yeah.
Wild plot device to get to the top of this company and make sure that she covers her ass. Like,
Yeah.
she's crazy. I don't know, man. I might kill her.
Don't gone girl you.
She
I'm not
will
gonna kill her.
girl me. I don't know if I want to. I even want to mess with that once.
I'd Michael Douglas her one time.
I don't know. She seems very intense.
Which would make for a good time.
I get that, but I'm so scared of her. She's
Mhm.
scary.
She is a bit scary.
All right, who gave the best performance?
I actually put her.
You gave, yeah, I did too. Honestly,
Oh, okay.
no, I had Demi Moore in this. I thought she did the best.
Again, it's not like an everyday thing that you see in film for a woman to be kind of that intimidating and that, the they flip the script But in terms of how she did it, I think she did it really well instead of it coming across as like cheesy or pandering or anything.
Yeah. When I was using her lines earlier, I thought those lines were really good, really well delivered. Probably some of the better written stuff in this movie. I don't think this is a well written movie, especially because it's all over the place plot wise. And again, the mixed messages of like, I did feel like they were going for something like, yeah, men can get sexually harassed too. And even that wasn't dealt with in a delicate or good way. It just felt like we were at a point in the 90s where women were now working and men were scared that they're going to lose their jobs because they could. You see it all the time with like or all the time ever since like the Me Too movement and the canceling of like this group of men that are just like, oh, can't say anything anymore, gonna get canceled. And that's what it felt like. It felt very whiny. It felt very I don't know, it just didn't hit in the way that they thought it was going to hit.
Good call on the comments. I hadn't even thought about that. Gone Girl would be a good movie pairing. It's kind of a modern day false sexual assault allegation stuff.
Yeah, no, that is a good pairing. I would rather watch Gone Girl a million times.
Oh, 100%. I really like that movie. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's recast it, though.
We've probably got the exact same recast, though. You just, because I'm assuming you put Sinbad for every character.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I put Sinbad as Meredith.
Yeah.
No.
Kind of like an Eddie Murphy type situation with Nutty Professor.
I actually chose the child from Jingle All the Way as Meredith.
No. Oh, no. Okay.
Come on now.
So for 1994, I originally, for Michael Douglas, just because to me their voices sound the same, so it just kind of reminded me. I originally put Jack Nicholson, but I changed it.
Okay.
I changed it to Bill Pullman. I think that's I think that would be really interesting. I feel like he would fit that character type really well. It's kind of like a smart, hardworking man that gets pulled into like this stuff. He's also handsome enough, whereas Jack Nicholson may not have been as much. So I was like, you kind of need that.
You think Bill Pullman could pull off like a secret freak?
I do. He was in Casper. You know, like fucking few ghosts. For Demi Moore's character, I put Elaine Hendricks. Think Parent Trap, and in her role in Parent Trap, her name was also Meredith.
Elaine Hendricks. Okay.
I thought that was a good pull. She might be dead, but
she's not dead. She's very young.
She's not the one that died in the skiing accident.
No, that was Natasha. Now I'm blanking on her name. Natasha Richardson, Liam Neeson's wife.
What was
Elaine Hendricks is the bad guy.
But she was in it, right?
She's in Parent Trap, yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure. I knew it had something to do with it. Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. Okay. And then for some reason, on both 1994 and 2024, I recasted Donald Sutherland's character. I couldn't tell you why, but I did. And for 1994, I put Alan Rickman.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I think he would crush it. You've not seen the Die Hard movies, but he was in one of those.
Yeah, he's in the first one.
Oh, was it the first one? Well, then
Hans Gruber. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. No, I like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Elaine, somebody that's really good. Yeah. I went with obvious. Sharon Stone, I think, is super obvious to recast as Meredith in that. She's kind of was doing all that. We saw her Sliver, Basic Instinct. She was pretty much, made for those kind of roles. I also like Dana Delaney after seeing her in that really terrible movie I watched earlier this year about the like bondage Club Med in I forget was East or Exit to Eden or whatever. And like I thought Dana Delaney would be a pretty good Demi Moore stand-in there.
I've never seen this person. Interesting.
And then for Tom for 94, I said like maybe Mel Gibson or Kevin Costner in 94. I'm thinking more Mel Gibson because he seems like he's got a lot of skeletons in his closet. And I was like,
Mel Gibson. Yeah, he's hiding some freak.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Ransom era Mel Gibson or Conspiracy.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What about 2024?
2024 for Michael Douglas's character, and this is probably the second time I've used this guy, but I'm using him again. Put Michael Imperioli, thinking like along the lines of like second season of White Lotus.
Yeah, that's really good.
Secret freak, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was good. You're gonna really like my Demi Moore recast on this one, and that's Haley Atwell.
I do like Haley Atwell.
And then for Donald Sutherland's character, put Edward Norton, kind of thinking of like Glass Onion, but a little older.
It's so weird because like Donald Sutherland looked like he was 70 years old in 1994, and I'm sure he was like 50 something. But like our 50 somethings now look like they're 40. So like Edward Norton doesn't look like he's like super old, but he's like in his late 50s probably.
And a little known fact: Edward Norton and Donald Sutherland actually acted together in The Italian Job. So there you go.
I had a bad experience. For Tom, I wrote down 3 guys. 2 of them I would think, okay, they're probably different spectrums. So like on the more aggressive Michael Douglas character of it, I put Shia LaBeouf.
Interesting.
Kind of in the middle of kind of being like slimy is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
Yeah, and then for like the not as slimy, maybe more of like the Bill Pullman kind of character, I put Donald Glover. I was like, yeah, let's put Donald Glover.
Okay, I don't hate those at all.
He could be a tech guy, and he's super handsome, and like he could Michael Douglas somebody.
I do think Gyllenhaal would probably make the most sense, though. Realistically,
I think so too. And then for the Meredith character, I picked Zoe Kravitz.
I'm not a huge fan of hers.
Really?
Yeah.
Kathy Bates?
She's not like Kathy Bates. It's just, I don't know. She's just, I don't think she's that great.
I was just trying to think of a character that like could pull off that like seductress and like, I don't know. I couldn't think of,
Have you seen
if anybody has really hit that on the head? And I feel like she's done it a couple times. Maybe
have you seen her in Big Little Lies?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I immediately thought of when you said her name. I mean, I still don't think it's a bad choice. That's just that's what my mind went to.
Like or like Zendaya in Challengers, like that kind of reminds me of a Demi Moore S character in this movie. So I liked her. I also put down Elizabeth Olsen, but I didn't really love that choice. She would be better as like the wife character, or maybe even the lawyer. So just some food for thought. All right. Any fun facts that you learned about this? I didn't have a ton of fun facts.
I don't know how fun this first one is, but a decade later, Demi Moore was sued for sexual harassment by the caretaker of her Idaho ranch, who claimed that she hit on him in the same manner she used to approach Douglas's character in the film, and then fired him after he rejected her advances. The case was dismissed.
Interesting.
So, not the most fun fact I've ever read, but that sucks.
Well, did you know, to get in shape for this movie, she had just given birth to her 3rd child. She biked 28 miles. Way to get in shape.
Sorry.
28 miles every morning before dawn to get in shape for this film. Biked.
Oh, biked. Damn, that's still crazy.
Every morning.
That's maybe she is insane.
A month. Well, no, I don't know how long she did, but that's crazy. She looked great.
Maybe
she looked great.
She is actually insane. Okay. The last one I have is that this was the third most rented VHS of 1995, and I think I know why. I'm
It's
sure.
not even good
I'm sure,
possible moment.
I'm sure there's a cut in the film where everybody has paused it and
Oh yeah.
rewound.
That was the case with my copy of my VHS copy of Wild Things growing up. If you all haven't seen Wild Things, I highly recommend it. That is an erotic thriller, and it's fun.
There we go.
Yeah, so there you go for all you people out there looking to pause some VHSs. That's a good one. Michael Crichton sold the movie rights for this for $1 million before the book was even published, which is crazy.
Dang, that is crazy. I guess was that after the Jurassic Park success or before?
Probably. He was probably like, "Hey guys, I got this great idea for a movie or for a book. Sorry, for a
Well, what if
book."
the book's great? The book could be great.
The only thing I heard about the book that was different was like the merger doesn't go through at the end, and like
That's it?
I don't know if that Stephanie character gets named as like the president or whatever in the
Oh,
book.
I definitely saw that coming from a mile away. By the way, that was very predictable.
Oh yeah. And that also leads to that a friend reveal that it was her the whole time.
That was
And she was
terribly
using
stupid.
her son as like a research assistant to have
Yeah.
access to this Dr. Alfred friend. It was terrible. That was such a bad thing. Also, fun fact, I cared more about this than probably other people, but there's a movie that is on in Tom's house when he comes home after, messing around with Meredith. And that is a clip from the movie The Apartment from 1960, starring Jack Lemmon and Fred McMurray and Shirley MacLaine. And in that particular scene, it's about like talking about men fooling around on their wives, which I thought was kind of interesting. I honestly, at first, because it was Fred McMurray, I thought it was another movie, which is one of the movies that I'm pairing this movie with, which leads me to my next thing, which is...
Well, hold on. What are you watching in the background now that you're talking about movies in the background?
Oh, I'm watching it needs some tracking stuff on it, but I'm watching Love Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not anything related. The only reason I put it on here was because there's infidelity in this movie, and I was like, yeah, that's Christmas.
Talk about an erotic thriller.
Yeah, seriously.
My mom and I quote one part of that movie a lot, and it's not even an important part, but it's, "Where's my fucking coat?"
I don't know what part is that from?
It's a background part where the lady's looking for her coat and dude's outside waiting for her, and she didn't know he was waiting right there. It's not even important. It's not even that funny, but for some reason we found it funny.
I love that. I love you and your mom's little lines that you have for each other. That's great. I quote, and I'm, where the little girl says she got a part in the nativity play. And she's like, "Oh yeah, what part?" She's like, "I'm playing the lobster." Like,
Oh yeah,
Beckett lobster. All right, like a fine wine and dish. If you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
I mean, I already kind of shot my wad here. I would choose Sliver. I think it just makes the most sense. I also liked Sliver more than this movie. I'm gonna be honest.
Man, I had way better time with Sliver than this movie.
Me too. It was even more fun to like poke fun of. This was just a pile of dookie, dude.
Yeah, super.
I did put one more thing just because it kind of popped into my mind when talking about like the seduction scene. I wrote down there was another movie we watched last year that showed Bush, and I think it was like an Asian guy, maybe an Asian lady or something. And I finally figured it out, and I think it was Rising Sun.
Rising,
was that
yes.
Right?
Boobs,
Okay.
Bush, and Buscemi. That was my review on Letterboxd.
So for some reason, that one scene just kind of reminded me of this, so I put that down too.
No, I love that. So I have 4 for all good reasons here. For the virtual reality portion of this movie, I think you should watch this movie with season 6, episode 2 of Community, titled "Lawnmower Maintenance and Postnatal Care."
That's insane.
You should watch just that movie or that episode.
Okay, hold
in
on.
chat,
When you said it's what now?
season 6, episode 2 of Community. It's called Lawnmower Maintenance and Postnatal Care. And there is an entire scene where the dean gets a virtual reality operating system, and he thinks that he becomes a god in this virtual reality world, and it's just like a file system, like an operating system for a computer.
Is it better or worse than him being Mr. Peanut Bar?
So much better, I think.
Oh, shit.
I think it's. I mean, I love Mr. Peanut Bar or whatever. That's very funny. The line that he says over and over is somebody put in the chat earlier is Jesus wept, and that's why I laughed at that line. Jesus wept. Jesus wept.
Oh,
So
this reminds me of maybe, I doubt you put it down, but the Tim Robinson sketch of him in the VR helmet.
do watch that too. I can't. I don't know what to do with I can't control the arms.
Can't control the body.
I can't control the body.
Breathe,
That's what it is.
breathe, Dad, breathe.
For another erotic thriller, this one would be more along the lines of an erotic thriller starring Michael Douglasing some people. Fatal Attraction, which stars Glenn Close as the Fatal Attraction. She goes a little insane, and she will not be ignored. And he cheats on his wife with Glenn Close's character, and it's a much better movie than this. Much better movie. Do recommend that. For a woman sexually harassing a man at work, I picked Horrible Bosses.
Oh, yeah. Good pull.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
And then for those people that want a kind of a black and white version of this, there's a 40s movie called Double Indemnity, starring Fred McMurray, who I talked about earlier. It's kind of like about this insurance scheme where they try and, I think, kill a partner in order to get life insurance, and there's a femme fatale that's like controlling the whole thing. It's a really good movie if you like old movies. But The Social Network is the incel version of this movie, and it's a much better version of this movie.
For some reason, I just thought too that another good one might be Sleeping with the Enemy. Not that it has a whole lot of eroticism in it, but the thriller aspect of it.
Yeah. You love you some Sleeping with the Enemy. You love you some what's her Pelican
Julia
Brief.
Roberts.
Julia
Oh
Roberts.
yeah. Well, that's my mom's fault.
She liked these movies in the 90s. I like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right. How likely are you to rewatch this movie on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm not. I gave it 1.
For some reason, I gave it a higher score than my actual score of this movie because
What?
I gave it a 2.5. Because
You would rewatch this?
if certain scenes came up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and watch that scene, specifically, not what you're thinking, the VR
VR?
scene, I would watch that over and over and over again because it is insane. I'm telling you, when she pops up behind him as like just a picture, it's that is cinema. That is cinema, truly.
It's funny.
All right, overall star rating, what'd you give it?
I struggle with this. I actually rated it a little bit higher than I probably should have. I rated it at 2, but I could be so easily swayed to a 1.5. Like, I'm not even joking. It was not good. Don't watch it.
No, do not watch this movie. It is not a good movie at all. I gave it a 2 as well. It really there's a lot of good people in it too. It's kind of infuriating that and there are some really good parts in it. But the message is unclear. I don't think this does anything for sexual harassment. One way or another. It doesn't do anything good for like corporate espionage or corporate. It doesn't paint it in a negative light because the corporation still wins in the end, and they get their merger, and they get their president, and they break the glass ceiling, and all the things that they wanted in the beginning of the movie all happen at the end of the movie. It all ties up, and Michael Douglas is pretty happy not being recognized as the president. So
this should just only be shown in HR orientation training to what not to do as an HR department because they are non-existent.
Somebody needs to do that if they're not already doing. I'm sure somebody is. Some HR person needs to watch movies and just make supercuts of those films and be like, "This is a violation."
I would
This is
love
a
that. That
violation.
sounds amazing.
I think that would be. I would watch those. So if you know somebody that is in HR and wants to do that, please do a
Carol.
supercut. Carol in HR. There is no Carol. Well, Spencer, we did it. I knew it was going to be a quick one, as we always do. You're a quick one. But thank you for doing this, and thank you for doing this all year long with me. I know it kind of gets in the way of other things but everybody that's involved. But I really do appreciate you doing this, and this being your last one of this year. Hopefully, you'll join us again when we do this again next year. If anybody wants us to do 1995, we don't have to, but I've got plans for 1995 and some good movies in 1995 that I'm really excited about. But thank you. Have you watched anything recently that you would like to recommend to people? It could be a movie, TV show, anything.
I have absolutely been watching stuff. I've also watched something that I would recommend everybody to not watch, and I'll get there. So I watched this docuseries called Outcry, which is like some of the stuff that I've watched recently is incredibly relevant to this film. Outcry is one of them. It's there was a really, really good star high school football player, and this girl made some false allegations against him, and it just details like how they were fighting for justice, how it ruined his life, how many years in prison he spent, all that. And that one, Outcry, is on Paramount Plus, I believe. Per your request, I have been watching with my wife a series called The Later Daters. So that is old people trying to date, and it is great. I've been rewatching Silicon Valley, which also feels very relevant to this corporate bullshit that we had to watch. There's a new animated Christmas movie on Netflix called That Christmas, which is really good, and I really liked that. It was really cute. I think it might be British, I think. So go check that out. My wife was watching, so I caught a lot of it. The Santa Claus 2 last week, and all I can say is, what the fuck is that?
Really?
That movie sucked. That was a creepy ass, weird ass, dumb movie. I didn't like it.
Was it because of the fake Santa Claus guy?
That had a lot to do with it.
That was very unsettling. Tim Allen as the fake Santa Claus dude.
Wasn't into that.
No.
I also watched a series on Hulu called The Patient with Steve Carell. And
is that good?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it was very interesting. Yeah. It got my attention for sure. A movie on Netflix called I Care a Lot. I really loved it, and it was kind of relevant too if you want to go down like the bad girls type role. And then I watched the documentary on Paramount Plus, Attica, just because I was relatively unfamiliar with everything about that, and now I'm more knowledgeable. So now moving on to my do not watch, even though it is somewhat relevant. Do not watch Subservience on Netflix. It is shitty. So
it was on my list of things that I know is going to be bad.
But at least you know.
So I watched that other AI movie on Netflix called Afraid.
That one's AI. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that one. I think people took it a little bit too seriously in it, but I'd be curious to see what other people thought of Afraid. So if you have time, you can watch it. I liked it a little bit. Subservience. Do not watch.
Hot garbage, dude.
Megan
you want to talk about
as a hot Alexa is what she's supposed to be?
You want to talk about no chemistry among a man and a wife, and like, because that's what it reminded me of when I was talking about like not liking Michael Douglas's wife in this. It reminded me of this bad movie because And I mean, you're supposed to feel bad for her, but there is zero chemistry between them. It is weird.
So chemistry between him and Megan Fox, or him and his
No.
dying wife?
Him and his dying wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so odd. It is the strangest thing. The movie is weird, dude. Like not. I like weird movies, but this one is like basically they took Megan, which was already a not good movie, and made it shittier. Somebody said in the pitch room they just put Megan Fox and turned the E into a 3, and somebody said genius.
Megan Fox. Anything else that you'd seen that you wanted to talk about?
Nope.
Nothing?
That's it. I was. Did you ever see? Did you watch? Did you get to watch Flow?
I have not watched Flow. No.
I can't even find it showing around here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's at our AMC theater. So I don't know if I'll watch that. I was planning on going to watch a movie tomorrow. So either Flow or A Real Pain were the options that I was going to look into. That's that Kieran Culkin, Jesse Eisenberg movie where they like go to Poland and do a Holocaust tour and stuff. So I've heard it's really good. I also wanted to watch Conclave, but that's on Peacock, I think. So I might just watch that here.
What's that about?
That is about a pope dying and all these all these people getting together. It's supposed to be a thriller. So it looks pretty good. You should check out the trailer for it.
There was one that we had started the other day. I need to watch it. I heard it's good. That new Taron Egerton, is that his name? On Netflix?
Oh, Taron Egerton? Yeah.
Egerton, yeah.
Carry On.
Yeah. I want to watch it. This is kind of like a fun movie.
Yeah. Like an action movie. You know, we don't get a lot of those.
I also really want to watch The Wild Robot.
I want to see Wild Robot as well. I made a list of things that are that got nominated for a Golden Globe, and I'm going to try and see as many of those, because probably a lot of those are going to get nominated for an Oscar, and I always try and watch as much as the Oscars as I can. So I'll try that kind of stuff. We'll see how that goes. But for me, I've been watching some Christmas movies, of course. I watched the greatest Christmas movie of all time, The Muppet Christmas Carol. I love The Muppet Christmas Carol. Everybody should watch that movie. Hot Frosty, I watched on Netflix. Not that bad.
Oh,
Not
wow.
that bad. I mean, you know what you're getting into with the Hot Frosty. It's so absurd, but I think it's like aware. It's self-aware. It's almost like a parody of a Hallmark movie. So I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. And then I watched an older movie, a black and white movie called Holiday Affair. You would not be interested in that movie, but for those people that do enjoy an older movie, Holiday Affair was a really fun one. So do check that out. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want. And I can say The Later Daters. I really enjoyed that show. So did you finish it?
No, I think we've watched like 2 episodes. They're kind of long, and I get sleepy.
Yeah, I get it. No, you get favorites, and then you get people that you're like, I fucking hate this person so much and hope they don't find happiness. There's a couple of those people in there. So
yeah, I don't think we would. We need to talk later because there's one I don't think we agree on.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Nate the Great?
No, Nate is great. It's the Georgia Bulldog fan.
I got thoughts.
Okay.
On her. Okay. Because there's some things there. But anyway, thank you for that. And of course, thank you to everybody who's watched throughout the year and subbed and followed and everything. I really do appreciate every single one of you for doing those things. We also have a Discord server that you can participate in, and you're always welcome to follow us on Instagram. Check out my account on Letterboxd too if you want. The Discord server does have our Class of 1994 poll to vote on right now, so you can vote on your favorites and other awards that we're going to announce at the end of the year.
Is there enough dedicated Wham on that server for us to vote?
There's so much dedicated Wham.
Oh,
It's
okay,
insane.
good.
It's insane. Anyway, this Thursday, change of plans. We're not going to be doing this on Sunday just because of the holidays and traveling and everything. We're going to be covering Little Women this Thursday. It is currently streaming for free on Pluto TV if you would like to watch it for free. So do check that out. And like I said, we'll be doing that this Thursday night. So come join us and talk about Little Women with Winona Ryder. It's a good one. But thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time on 52/1994. Love y'all.